Hello, Katy Clark.
Good morning. Hold on. I've never done it in this location with my
It
computer.
looks great. Yeah, it looks great.
It's all about the lighting, you know.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah. Thank you for taking some time here to join us, the Toddcast, Vancouver, Canada.
What's the weather like in Canada right now?
Well, we're starting to get to summer weather. Vancouver, generally around this time, we're starting to get pretty nice, right? Starting to get pretty good, pretty good. So I think within the next couple, 2-3 weeks, we should be sunny and just gorgeous for the next 4 or 5 months.
I don't know how you guys do it up there. I lived in Minnesota for a little bit. Not for me. I'm solar powered, so that's why I like SoCal.
Yeah. When we booked you initially, Katy, we'd said, we love your Instagram. We love your Instagram. I mean, we think it's amazing. You create great content. I mean,
has that changed?
No, it's only been a few days. No, what I'm getting to is, being that you're a matchmaker, you're a dating coach.
Yeah.
How much has social media changed the game?
Oh, social media on top of dating apps has changed the game. This idea and picture of, meet organically. I love when people tell me that. I'm like, okay, you're living in La La Land. And I literally live in La La Land. There's too much of La La going on. But social media has created this speed bump. And I call it a speed bump because some people take it quickly, some people slow down for it. But it creates this illusion sometimes and almost this discouragement in dating because people will check out people's social media. And I've done reels on this, like women are looking at a man's social media. As a matter of fact, I encourage people not to be on social media, men especially. And if you are for business purposes or just for family, but if you're following thousands of women and they're half naked, no woman is secure with that. And if they say they are, that's okay. But then at the same time, I hear men complain about women's social media, that they look selfish, selfies all by themselves. And they think to themselves, is this the woman I'm going to marry? And their social media turns off the whole thing and boom, everyone's like done. They quit, they jump ship really fast because of social media.
Yeah. Weird though, because that's kind of the way that things are today. It's not like, I mean, how often do you hear people are getting hooked up from here's a friend of mine and they're single, right, and you're single and you guys would really work well. That stuff is almost like non-existent at this point.
Well, people are nervous because what if she's crazy and I introduce my buddy to her?
Right.
People have these initial, like, she's crazy and he's a douchebag,
right?
So quickly. So they're nervous about making that exchange. Look, I've dated a lot of men, you could probably say on the minimum, I've gone on 100 dates during my 10 years of singleness. And I'm still good friends with all these guys. They're good guys. There's a couple that are the douchebags, like moving on, no need. They circle back, they come in. I cut one of their hair during COVID. Like he needed some help. Why wouldn't I? We have to realize that dating is not about like, I'm going to marry this guy or this girl. I'm going to even be in a relationship. I am going to make friends and in that process, see if this works out. But everyone jumps in too fast. I always say with my clients, we do this thing. It's a method. I call it the 10 toes in. So many people just run off the pier and jump in the water. You don't even know what the water feels like, the temperature. You don't know anything about the water. So why would you do that? So with my clients, to slow them down in the process of dating, we talk about how many toes in, and often women will be like, I'm 5 toes in. I said, girl, pull it back. That's too many toes too fast.
Yeah.
So we have processes and word pictures that we use to make sure we're doing it right. There are good steps in dating.
Yeah, for sure. And like as a matchmaker, as a dating coach, what eats up most of your time these days?
Nothing eats it up because I actually love what I do.
Yeah.
But recently it's funny. I've things come in waves. I always say like sets of an ocean, even dating, like you're hot. These are all the good waves. And then it's not. A lot of it is just with my clients. I'm unique this way is that I love my clients. Their success is truly my success. And so I'm highly involved in coaching them.
Sure.
Whether you're a matchmaking client or just a coaching client, you have what I call 24, almost 7 approach to me. So you can text me. I mean, I get 11 o'clock at night text because dating is 24/7. Dating is,
Sure.
I mean, I'm not cheap, so that's why you have access to me as well.
Right.
But it's this idea that, like women can start to overthink. And then my male clients are like, Katy, what should I do in this moment? What text should I send? How should I respond to her? So almost putting out little fires. And I wouldn't call them fires so much as I think people are so easy to quit nowadays because it's this disposable dating society.
Sure.
And the idea, oh, I have a matchmaker, she can get me a new match. But most of my clients, they want the one. And so they'll meet someone, they think they're great, and a little fire will erupt. And I'm like, okay, it's just a fire. It's not, we don't want it to turn into a brush fire and bigger, but we've all got to learn how to deal with life and relationships and communication. And I think that's really, I turn into like a therapist, but I love it because you've got to start to use your words, speak up. A lot of us get discouraged. I've already done that with my ex and he didn't listen to me. And, she was always nagging at me. So we all kind of quit in having good communication skills. So I would say just helping my clients maneuver through dating, because I can get you the first date. Can you get the second date?
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And what is it, Katy, do you think that makes a good matchmaker? Like, is it a dating coach? Is it just a good ear? Is it a bit of a dirty mind? Is it a unique view on relationships? Maybe a little bit of the three? Like what is it about what you do?
Well, I can tell you what makes me a good matchmaker. And these are definitely things I think people should be looking for if they are hiring. And there's matchmakers, and then there's also companies that do lunches and things like that. So this is the three things I would tell somebody to look for. Number one, when you're being matched, you get to see photos. A lot of companies, a lot of matchmakers will not show photos. And I think that is the most ridiculous thing ever. Of course, they'll tell you they have that kind of looking person, and people are visual, men and women. So this whole idea of, oh, well, we're just going to match according to what you both want. Like you both want to get married, so we'll just match you. No. I've seen a lot of issues with that. So don't go with a matchmaking company or person who won't show you photos. Also, I don't believe in a number set. So I don't tell people, well, I'll give you 10 dates. I don't do that. I do a timeline because it takes time to go through the process of dating. And the more dates you have, the better dater you are. And the more feedback I get as a matchmaker to tell you, hey, you kind of did this wrong. Women don't like that. Or, hey, this guy noticed your outfit. It's not a turn on. So that would be the first two things. And number three, is your matchmaker available? I told you this, I am available for my clients 24, almost 7, because dating is 24, almost 7. It's relationship building. And so that's really, I think, one of the biggest important things. Yeah. To have a good matchmaker. And, I hate to say this too, but you should have a hot matchmaker because
of course,
well, there's a lot of matchmakers that I look at, I'm like, really? Like, because first off, I attract beautiful women, good looking men, successful, quality. So those kind of, you attract what you are is what I always say. And I always think, like, if I were going to go get my hair cut somewhere and the woman had terrible hair, why would I get my hair cut there? So if your matchmaker is good looking and she's badass, you should, probably hire her.
Right. It's like wink, wink. You just did a big singles trip down to Cancun. How many years have you been doing that? I mean, those trips, they look like they would be magical.
Hey, years, that took me 2 months. That was like a 2-month organized, not even organized, threw it out there to see what the universe would throw back at me. Yeah. Honestly, I've never done that trip, and dating with Katy is still pretty new. I've been working for my matchmaking company, Sync, for about 7 to 10 years. I actually went on a date for them years with a guy named Ted, who I'm still friends with, who needs to hire me. Went on a date with Ted and I asked, can I join your team? Because I knew that I knew a lot of people, and actually I was their target market. It was a bunch of young girls at the time. They'd never been married, had no kids, where everybody, their clients were, older, divorced, kids. There's a different skill set and a different kind of a challenge when you are, in that generation of dating. Like, we're round 2, I like to say. So anyways, working with them. But then during COVID, I created Dating with Katy because I realized I coached our clients so much that I thought, I'm going to just help everybody. And everybody was sitting around the house. So in all of that to say, I love to travel. And people always say to me, Katy, you do such cool stuff. Like, your life looks so fun. And I'm like, it's easy. You just book it
Yeah,
Like,
just do it.
but it is hard to find fun people to travel with. Case in point, I was just in Peru on a group trip with 10 random people, and they were not fun. These people were
Mhm.
not fun. And I was like, I had to do breakfast, lunch, dinner with them. I'm like, you people are not fun. I'm fun. You're not fun. But then I look back at the Cancun trip, which was a blast. It was literally random people who follow me, who had the guts to say, you know what, Katie's fun. Let's try this. We went to an all-inclusive. I planned it in January with my girlfriend. She's single, never really gone anywhere, not really dated yet. I said, well, let's get out of town. So I just figured if I invite other people, that I can make it a tax write-off and have fun with followers. I know singles are like looking for singles to travel with, looking for places to go. It was phenomenal. I already have it in the books for next January, into
Oh,
January.
nice.
So hold those weekends. It'll be much more organized as well, but we had a blast. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was kind of having Cancun sadness, missing the whole team. And all the guys really got along. All the girls did. Like, it was just cool quality people.
Nice. So the plan for next year is Cancun again?
Cancun again. I feel like it's kind of the middle line for, us,
Yeah.
South Cabo's too far. Other places are too far for Cali people. I will also say that we have Tuscany in the works. So
Oh,
10 days in Tuscany with a guy that I met on Bumble. I met
nice.
him on Bumble years ago. He throws these amazing trips. And he lives in New Jersey, but he has a villa in Tuscany. And so the guy knows the area. So we are also going to be doing that one, because why not? Why not?
This brought to you by a wine hangover.
Yeah.
Kate,
Good wine. Good
of
wine.
course, great wine in Tuscany.
Right. I prefer old world wine versus new world wine, which is something I also teach too, because it makes you look savvy when you're ordering wine. If you can,
Right.
like, it's like a hack, like a cool dating hack right there.
Right. Broad strokes, but what do you think the biggest mistakes that men and women, I suppose, make during courting and dating and just kind of playing the game?
For ladies, I have 4 things that they should be looking for, and I'm really ardent about this. Okay. So the number one thing that every woman should be looking for is his effort. And women will let chemistry lead the way. Well, there was no chemistry, but his effort was amazing. And I always say, you could have chemistry with a 20-year-old boy. Okay. But at the end of the day, he's not going to show up for you. Like, we're all in a stage, my clients are all typically 35 and up, in a stage where we're looking for a life partner who's going to, and life is not always going to be easy. Like, I'm all about the trips and the fun, but something's going to hit the fan at some point.
Sure.
Not if, but when. And so I really think women need to be watching his effort. Effort is everything, guys, everything. Number 2, are you laughing together? That's on both sides. Are you having fun? Is it fun with this person? I say relationships are work, but they shouldn't be hard. There's a difference between that. Now, again, I'm not talking about a cancer situation. That's hard. That's grit. But when you're with somebody, you should be working at making it a good relationship and being creative and fun and investing in them. So are you guys laughing together? Number 3 for ladies, and again, for both, but reality. Does his life work with your life? Does your life work with his? Do you like his kids? Does he like your kids? Kids are a big one. I'm sorry, but never minimize your kids and their feelings for a guy or a woman, ever.
Sure.
It's come before, like, dating. And then on top of that, number 4 is chemistry. So ladies, chemistry is your last one. I've seen women just deal with douchebags for years because, well, Katie, the sex was so great. And then what?
Come on.
And then when your pipes burst, he didn't show up. I know, but he was busy. No, he wasn't, because my man would have shown up. So for women, those are the 4 things that I really, really stress. And I hear this a lot. Well, but there was just no chemistry, Katie. I'm like, it was a first date. Go on 3 dates. Now, for guys, I have to say, you men are so much simpler. You're really easy. You're not as picky. I love working with men. I do feel like I understand the mind of a man. You're visual. When guys are like, well, I'm looking for a pretty woman. I'm like, I get it. I love it. I want you to have that. And I do believe men should be looking for these 2 things. And ladies, listen up, because this is truth and you can verify. Is she fit and is she fun? Now, I use those 2 words because alliteration, and they match the 2 F's.
Well, you got to throw in a third then. Fit, fun, and foxy.
Foxy. Oh, I like that. It's so funny. There's certain words that people
Should
get.
write that down.
I do. I write everything down.
Love it.
Well, people get so offended nowadays. I use the word like, I hope your man is teachable. And oh my God, every man was so offended. I'm like, what is wrong with teachable? Whatever. But let's be honest, like every man likes the other F words too,
Yes.
just fuck them and feed them. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So my point in being fit and fun, and everyone's like, well, I'm not skinny like you, Katie. That's not the point. Being fit means being healthy. Men really value a woman who keeps herself healthy, keeps herself presentable, pretty, fun. I mean, he likes a woman who shows up well next to him. Let's be honest, there's nothing wrong with that, because I want my man to be equally looking good.
Sure.
It's all about style and personal presentation. And then fun, a lot of us have been divorced. We've come from naggy ex-wives. A lot of men have come from naggy ex-wives, women who have taken their money, live in the champagne life, especially here in SoCal. And they're just looking for a woman who isn't going to be that. So a lot of women have old habits from their past marriage. I just had this with a client. She totally threw up on a great guy. She told him 7 things he was doing wrong. And I was like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that to a man. You just, and men, ladies, I'm gonna say this 1,000 times over, they want to please you. They want to make you happy. Men are good men. Men are better than women at the end of the day, I almost feel like. And really, they just don't read minds. So just tell them what you want. I had a client yesterday. She likes this guy, but he's overweight by probably 40 to 50 pounds. So it's not like a dad bod, it's a little bit bigger. So the question is his lifestyle. And she doesn't want it to influence him. I said, well, you got to learn to speak up. He doesn't read your mind. He thinks you're okay with it. And the good guy, not the nice guy, but the good guy will change for her. Like he'll say, you know what, you're worth it. And by the way, this isn't healthy anyway. I've just needed somebody to motivate me. Right. And he'll do it. Right. Yeah. I mean, guys are good guys. So I'm on team good guy.
Like I wonder if we've just like common sense just isn't common sense anymore, because when you started off by saying like, pursue the woman, that's to me seems like common sense. Like that was how I got my wife.
Love it.
Texting her and telling her I'm gonna pin her against the wall when I get home, that kind of shit, right?
And
like
then you did it.
Yeah, of course. That to me kind of seems like it's common sense.
But that's also being a man of your word. And I think that's what's really lacking in this day and age. Now, I have 3 kids, straight A's, phenomenal kids. My son made me dinner last night, but that's because I smack them in the head a lot. Like, no, well, that's ridiculous. Who taught you that thought? That's not going to work in life. That's not life. And life is not fair. And so people are living, again, in that la la land. And I think I always say of the 100% of people dating, 80% really aren't of any value. They're there for their ego. They're not ready yet. They're on the apps, but they don't show up. They're ghosting or they're catfishing. There's a myriad of reasons that they're just the 80%ers, but the 20%ers are quality people. But now the funnel got smaller and you have to find your one in that 20%. Mm-hmm. And it really is about vetting. And sadly, common sense is not common sense, but we can say that, feminism and like, I'm equal. And instead of celebrating, okay, we're not equal. There's 2 different genders and it's yours and mine. And that's how we perform. And that's what I'm good at and what you're good at. Look, if I was a fireman and my dad, who was 400 pounds, was dying up in a building, I am not equal to the much bigger firemen who can go get him. Right. This is silliness. It just doesn't make sense. So sadly, I think a lot of guys are nervous because some girls, oh, don't open my door. I can do it for you. Well, of course you can open your own door. You do it every day, but he wants to do it because it's a thoughtful gesture. Of course my daughter can take out the trash, but it's stinky. So I'm gonna let my boy do it. Like what happened to good old fashioned values? And that's one of the things I really stick up for is old school standards with new school style.
Right.
So I do believe in change and women can text a guy first. It's not the end of the world, but I do like it when a man does it mostly because it's the pursuit and we love to feel that, mm-hmm. And spoiling goes both ways. So can we just say that? So, figure out somebody's love language. If she likes gifts, buy her a sexy pair of high heels and ladies use it to bless him, like just the right. Heels alone. So I think people, oh, well, she's a gold digger if she wants a pair of heels. I mean, I can buy my own heels, but when you buy them for me, it's a different storyline.
Yeah. Yeah. Katie, I had a follower ask me to ask you about friend zones
Okay.
and like, how do they get out of them? I'm like, I don't think you can personally, but can you get out of friend zone?
You can, but why? Like at the end of the day, if she friend zoned you, move on. You can still, I'm a believer in staying friends with people, but there's a million fish in the sea.
Right.
Who
Well,
wants
there's
someone
7 billion actually, but
Yeah. Well, we need the singles and that are worthy. So we're gonna have to take that
right.
number back
Gotcha.
down. But no, and I don't do math. I speak Spanish, but I don't do math. I think that's the big thing is move, like stay friends with people, because again, don't burn bridges. You never know. Everyone's dating in a smaller circle, even though even though the people have like, oh, I'm gonna date 100 miles radius, people are lazy and they don't.
Right,
And
right.
so, and I'm a big believer. I actually don't like to shit where I eat. So I never dated. I once dated a dad from school. Again, totally went against my rule. Not a good idea. There's other fish in the sea, bigger sea.
Yeah.
But if you're in that friend zone, stay friends. She might have a friend. You never know, but move on. Like, do not give it energy and do not be sad about it because it's not your person. Like, you've really got to have faith. It's one of the foundations I teach. You've got to have faith that your person is out there. And when you're just digressing and sad, I saw an Instagram the other day and it talked about how this girl was like, you blocked me on everything, so I'm going to be at your job tomorrow working there too. I thought, this is, and you know how many people like that stuff? You're psycho. Just the energy of this comment, like everybody laughs about it, but people do this stuff. Like they continue. It's like they don't like you back. Move on.
Like, move on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
call that dating like an adult. It's not as easy to find out there as we'd like to think.
Right. And what do you think about dating a friend's ex? Yes, no?
Sure, if they're cool with that, why not? If you're all good people do not get their panties in a wad over this stuff. Like I don't see a problem with it. Now, if your friend should, I mean, it depends on how quality of a friend is. I believe there's 3 values of friends. There's your quarters, your dimes, and your pennies. Your quarters are your 4 quarters. They're your people. Your dimes, you know them, you're great. You'll invite them to a party. Your pennies are my Instagram followers. I love you guys, but you're also pennies, in a sense of how to gauge your friendships. But as long as everybody's cool with it, I don't see a problem.
Love it. I love that you're bringing pennies into the situation, considering Canada doesn't even have pennies anymore.
No more coins in Canada.
Well, no more pennies.
No more pennies. There's
we
something
just round up to the 5s. We round up or we scale down. That's it.
Yeah, well, we're out of coins apparently. I think there's some grandmas in the world that are storing all their coins for their grandkids here in America. So I don't even know. I don't trust nothing anymore.
Katie, I told you I'd be about maybe 15, 20. Can I steal you for another 5, 10? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I would love to get outside of dating and relationship advice and what you're known for.
Okay.
Can you share a near-death story with us? We're like, holy shit, I should have maybe died just now.
Yes. So I was driving with my 3 amazing kids. I've had 2, but I'm going to say this one because of the reality of it. I sent my kids to camp, and it was about a 7-hour drive up, 7-hour drive back. And I had to do the first round, and then I had to do the second round a week later, going up to Sequoia area. And I had woken up at 5 a.m. to go pick them up from camp. I'm not a great driver because I have like ADD. Long roads, if you've ever done the Grapevine, it's a very long road. It's just too straight and boring for me. I go pick them up from camp at 10 a.m. We come down the mountain and we're driving we're back on the straight roads. And we were all hungry. It's about 1 o'clock. And my kid said to, Mom, let's get lunch. I said, okay, at the next off ramp, we're going to go get In-N-Out. Literally, I fell asleep at the wheel. But I'm giving God all the glory for this one because we literally went across the freeway through a fence. Okay. We turned, we hit the fence again. Then we were on the frontage road. Thank God nobody was on the frontage road. Hit the frontage road, turned. My daughter woke up. Everybody was sleeping. My daughter woke up screaming, "Are we going to die?" and I had a big Acura, an older Acura, so it was heavy metal. Thank God. I feel like old cars were heavy in metal. We turned and then we lined up directly against a tree that was right here in front of someone's house, almost like we looked like a parked car. We were parallel to the frontage road, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. There was a couple dents and bruises from hitting the fence, and the fence had kind of gone down to the freeway. It was miraculous that nothing happened. And then the story that goes on, let me finish the story here, because the people came out, they called the police. It was about 2:00 at this point. The next day I have a job interview in Minnesota, okay, which was at this time as a struggling single mom. I finally have a job interview. This is a big deal for me. They call to get, these people were so helpful. The police officer that comes is a Christian. He has 3 kids, totally helping us, just kindest heart. There are no, all of like the tow companies, everybody's kind of closed. Here's the biggest part. There was no car rentals that were open. This is Visalia, California, middle of nowhere. So my dad has to drive from Long Beach down to get us 7 hours to pick us up so I can get, this gets better though. But then I have this broken car that's a total with all of our crap in it in front of these people's houses. Somebody says, I'm going to call a tow company. The tow company's owner comes on his day off, picks us all up, throws everything in the back of his truck, takes the car to be totaled into a wreck, takes us to In-N-Out so we can still have our lunch. So this guy, to this day, I don't know who he is. Then by chance, I'm dating a Blue Angel. Okay. So out there is where the Blue Angels live and practice. That's the Navy base. And he is gone. I have 3% left on my cell phone. His house is 30 minutes away from there. It's in Lompoc, I think it's called. And so I tell the tow truck driver, will take me to his house. His neighbor's going to give me the key. We're going to sit in the house until my father comes. So we get to the house. There's this picture of a man with the president. My kids are like, whose house is this? These are my dating stories too. My dad's like, whose house is this? I'm like, nobody needs to know the answer. It just worked out miraculously. My dad picked me up. We got home and I did get to my interview in time. All of that to say, it made me realize we could have died, but God didn't have us die, and we have a plan.
Yeah. Wow.
And we never know. You never know. So you never know your time. But if it's not your time, you have a plan and a purpose right now. So do it.
Falling asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, terrible. Ooh. And you know what? I don't know if I've ever told anybody that story. It's embarrassing and it's sad, but you've got to learn you can't do everything. As a single mom, I couldn't do everything. Otherwise, it was all C- average, C- across the board. So it's really important that you ask for help. You know, take your time. I mean, my kids know on long trips now, I will literally pull over and be like, here's a park, go play. I need 30 minutes to sleep. And we've done it in Key West. We've done it to Santa Barbara. Like I have learned, I'm never, ever, the minute my eyes shut, and this is a message for someone who needs to hear, the minute you're stop, just pull over.
Right. Once bitten, twice shy, baby. Which shows are you currently binge watching? Like what's on the tube?
I'm not, I'm busy with work. I think coming back from Peru, I was in Peru. I can say this though, in Peru, I watched 14 Peaks. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a documentary. Talk about fear. Talk about like, so I don't like heights.
Yeah.
And I did Huayno Picchu, Huayno Picchu. It's the mountain behind Machu Picchu. Like in the postcards, it's the big shark fin mountain. Yeah. And so just last week we did that, and it's straight down. They have the stairs of death, and I hate heights. I hate them. And I am a cursor. Like I will drop the F-bomb the whole time. It's like, I'm channeling my inner Billy Goat, but dropping F-bombs. For some reason, I just feel more badass. And so it was actually cloudy the day that we did it, which was good because the minute the clouds went away, I was like, oh my gosh. But watching 14 Peaks, it's a phenomenal documentary of a guy who did 14 of the 8,000 meter peaks in 7 months.
Shit. In 7 months.
In 7 months. In 7 months. And he's from Nepal. And I used to live in China. I've been to Tibet. My kids have been to Nepal. Like, I'm just amazed by the tenacity of these cultures. I mean, they're the Sherpas and they don't get any of the glory. All these guys going to the top, like, oh, I made it
over and over and over again. And,
bro, without that guy, you wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I had a guy named Brian Dickinson.
Okay.
On the show, and he climbed Mount Everest, and on the descent went snowblind. like
What's that?
couldn't see, like basically blind from the brightness of the snow and everything. It impacted his eyes so bad that he couldn't see, and he descended Mount Everest blind.
Well, was he in a belay? Like, I mean, come on.
No, by himself, like straight up by himself.
By himself.
Yeah. He
So
has a-
watch 14 Peaks, because you'll see the traffic for Mount Everest is like LA traffic. The
Really?
line to get to the top is just people. It was
Crazy.
like, what is that? So when people go to K2 and the other, you see how much harder it is, because it's not like a line of people that are doing it constantly. So watch that. It's a great one. And I will say I love Downton Abbey. Love it,
Okay.
love it, love it. Cheesy. Even my 16-year-old son loved it. And Emily in Paris. I try to keep things PG in my house, because I don't ever want to look away and have kids see, like
Stuff and,
just try to, I try to watch Ozarks. Too dark. I don't like seeing unhappy families, because it makes me sad.
yeah.
Cranky teenagers and messed up parents. And I'm like, you know what? It's true, but it doesn't have to be like that. So I don't watch that kind of stuff, but
Yeah, fair.
that's
All
what
right, I'll respect your time. I'll ask you 2 more questions.
Sure. I have an hour for you. So, I mean, you can
Okay,
ask-
great. Okay, great. Def Leppard on the shirt.
Yep.
What's the music like in your house as a kid growing up? Like, what are your parents playing?
My mom played the Beatles constantly, and I'm not a Beatles fan, I have to be honest. My mom always played her 60s music that she grew up to, so she never kind of converted to our music. Whereas a mom, I try to listen to their music and my music. I'm actually not a heavy metal fan, but I love rocker shirts. And a lot of my clients, a lot of my followers are like, Katie, I love your shirt. And they just look cute with blazers. But I am from Long Beach, the LBC, Snoop Dogg, Warren G, Tupac. So I personally love all of that old school vibe. I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan. I mean, wish I could see the man in concert. Prince, my favorite song, and people never know this one, is Coat of Pink Cashmere. Sexy, sexy, sexy. You light some candles, turn that song on, and boom. And I'll listen. My kids and we love, my boys love jazz. We listen to a lot of jazz here. My son is in Spanish, and I do speak Spanish. And so he's been listening to, like, the Latin music is really coming back into pop culture, which I love. Yeah, but we always try to have some music on. Like, I'm an energy person. So the energy, even I've learned about Hertz music.
Yeah.
And what it does for your energy levels. And so my kids are like, Mom's got her Hertz music on.
I love it. That's so great. And what was the first concert you went to?
New Kids on the Block, baby. Like, I literally, my father just passed away. So I've got all of my stuff, and I just found my Joey Joe little figurine, my big New Kids on the Block button, and my little Joe. I was Joe McIntyre fan through and through. I mean, huge New Kids on the Block. I also went, and this is probably not good to say, who is R. Kelly?
Oh, R. Kelly,
with a little bump and grind, right?
You're the one that peed on kids? Or
that's why I said
whatever?
It's probably not good to say. Yeah. Went to R. Kelly and New Kids on the Block. That's probably about it. I'm not a huge concert fan. I love going to country now, though. My kids love it as well.
Country, what do you mean, like country music?
Country music.
Country music's fun. It's good stuff. If you can't party to country music, you got a problem.
And listen, I'm a rap girl, but I used to think, oh, country music's terrible, but it's the people and the quality of people. They're just kind, they're sweet, they dress cute. These girls in their little shorts, they are sexy. Like, if I was a man, I'd be like, this shit is hot.
Absolutely.
So I love going to country, been a stagecoach, done those things.
Yeah. What's the plan for the rest of the year for you? Have you got it mapped out, or just kind of floating along, or like how do you approach your year?
I got my planner right here. Everything's a plan. So my kids I have 2 in college, which is phenomenal, like turning into amazing human beings, which I miss them though. I'm a total mom at heart, and I'm going to become an empty nester in a month and a half, fully empty nester. I do have one in high school still. He is 16, but he will be moving with his dad to Turkey.
Oh, wow.
So he will be in Turkey, which is cool, international school. My kids were raised in China. They were, my oldest was there for 7 years. So we put them in Chinese school. So I'm a big believer in international living, like seeing the bigger picture of the world, learning languages. So he's moving to Turkey. I'm going to take him there. We're doing Cappadocia, which is like the hot air balloon capital. Got to get those photos in for Instagram.
Of course.
And then we're doing Bodrum, which is like the, the fancy, the South Shore of Turkey. So I'll be doing that. And then my other two are in college. One is doing a camp where she's, being like water rafting, rock climbing, super cool. My other one is home with me. So I'm putting him to work. So he's going to help me with my podcast. I'm learning how to do all the next things, and he's very helpful. And so I will be an empty nester by summer. And so I think that's the big thing, is I'm actually going to be figuring out the guy that I've been dating is like, okay, now we actually have time for each other, and how is it going to look? Because it'll be a different stage of our relationship. He lives in another state, so we've never really been together. So now we're going to have more time together, and let's see how that goes. And then on top of that, I'll be doing a work meeting in Colorado. So if anybody's in Colorado, let's have an event and get together. And then I'm doing the Ritz-Carlton yacht cruise coming up. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. I love it too, because I can share with you guys, like it's going to be romantic and beautiful, and we're doing the Caribbean. But end of the year, I want my book out. I've written a couple books, just never really finished them, if you know what I mean. Podcast is coming. I'm also going to be doing a podcast with another matchmaker. So you'll have two of us back and forth. Wow. And I have a lot of ideas. I'm one of those people. So if anybody's out there who can help me, I have ideas. It's just, I don't have enough of me to do them. So I have 7 Steps to Sexy. I already have my Confidence 101 for Men. That is a video teaching. It's video with a little slideshow next to it. It's great. If you're new dating, guys, watch this video. I tell you exactly what to wear, exactly what to say. This is how you do it right and do it well. I have 7 Steps to Sexy that I've written for women. I have multiple different courses that I teach. So I just need to get it all together and, start giving it to my viewers. I love them. They love me back. And I think we're all trying to be better at this. I want them to be confident, successful, and to have fun dating.
Busy, busy, busy.
Busy, busy.
Busy's good though. Thank you again, Katy, for joining us. You're at Dating with Katy on Instagram. Katy spelled Katy.
Y's are different than IEs. I have to say that, like, they're actually personality wise, they're very different. So I'm
100%. It's Tamara and Tamra, and Tara and Tara.
Oh, Tara and Tara. That's a big difference.
Don't call me Tara. It's Tara. All right, psycho.
Yeah, like it's just, if somebody calls me Kathy, I don't get my pants. It's not a big deal. It's no big deal.
Awesome. Thank you again, and I guess we'll see you online.
All right. Thanks so much, Todd. Have a good one, you guys.